So this is wild, y'all. So now we have a situation where local law enforcement, so a bunch of police officers, are starting to get really fucking pissed off at ICE because the ICE Gestapo thugs are, they're going too far. They're going too far. They're violating the law. They're taking away people's rights. They're far too aggressive. A lot of these guys are just deputized white nationalists. And police officers are looking at them and going, what the fuck is going on here? So here we have an officer, a police chief, standing up and telling the truth. Watch this.
I was shocked. I've never been spoken to by a fellow law enforcement officer in such a way.
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills says on top of requiring 75% of his department's manpower for crowd control outside of the ICE processing facility in the west suburban city, he was personally, verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my office is looking at me for guidance and leadership. And
by the way, I wonder why they yelled at him. I wonder why they yelled at him in particular. What is it about him in particular that an ICE agent didn't like?
Verbally attacked by ICE agents during a protest.
I'm a leader of a department. I know that my office is looking at me for guidance and leadership, and I had to ensure that, I had to stay calm and not engage in such unprofessional behavior.
Chief Mills says he was walking across a skirmish on September 12th, the day this video was shot. He was called multiple expletives by an ICE agent, calling him a coward, accusing him of neglecting his duties during protests that got physical. Mills also telling the I-Team about an incident earlier this week where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location.
Oh my God. These people are out of control. This is a rogue agency, y'all. That's why we call them the ICE Gestapo. Because they're acting like Trump's Gestapo. He got him over $100 billion in the big bullshit bill, so he hyper-funded them. That makes them bigger than like the Israeli military and all these militaries around the world. And the whole point is this will be a domestic military. But they don't give a fuck about the law. They don't give a fuck about the Constitution. They don't give a fuck about Miranda rights. They'll fucking cover their faces. Even if you show your papers, if they're intent on fucking you up and fucking your day up, they will fuck your day up and they will hold you. They've held American citizens for a fucking week. For a week. And then here you have an ICE agent in a pickup truck barreling over somebody. And the cop's like, well, what the fuck? You guys are supposed to be part of law and order and you guys are causing the fucking disorder. You're the criminals. Jesus Christ. They're the criminals, bro.
This week, where a pedestrian was hit by a truck near the ICE facility.
Allegedly, a ICE agent struck someone and continued on into their location. And during the course of that, while trying to gather information, there was pepper spray released while my officers right there. They felt the effects of that pepper spray where it altered their vision. They were coughing and I was on the phone with them and they had to leave the area so they can decontaminate themselves.
Tell me that this isn't like very clearly the beginning of what a civil war would look like. The fact that you have, the National Guard from red states invading blue cities, the fact that you have ICE Gestapo thugs invading blue cities, that is red America, or the representation of red America invading blue America. That's what that is. Now you have scenarios where you have police officers on the ground knowing, hey, this is my job. I know what my job is. My job is to keep the peace in this city or in this town or whatever. And you have ICE coming in. They're causing problems. They're fucking people up. They're pepper spraying people. They're running over people with fucking pickup trucks. They're berating the police. And then the police are going, hey, bitch, these are my streets. I mean, you're seeing the fault lines. The fault lines are developing very clearly.
Now, Broadview's mayor has issued a blistering letter to ICE excoriating their actions, saying, quote, Broadview police officers are routinely being exposed to ICE agents' tear gas volleys, forcing them out of action until they recover. Broadview firefighters and ambulance personnel are being exposed. Nearby residents are being exposed.
When you take somebody that has no experience, that they're not a professional, they got involved in ICE because they want to rough up minorities, what the fuck do you expect is going to happen? All right, we got more. Here we go.
My name is Thomas Mills. I am the chief of police for the village of Broadview. We are experiencing an immediate public safety crisis. The deployment of tear gas, pepper spray, mace, and rubber bullets by ICE near the processing center in the village of Broadview is creating a dangerous situation for the community and all first responders. Broadview residents, police officers, and firefighters, paramedics are being exposed to these agents. Our own Broadview police are routinely being exposed to ICE tear gas, forcing them out for an amount of time so they can decontaminate, get their breath, clear their eyes, which takes them out of service. The use of these weapons is directly harming Broadview's first responders. Currently, the Broadview Police Department has launched 3 separate criminal investigations into ICE activities since the Midway Blitz began in the Chicago area.
Bro, he is literally saying the ICE Gestapo thugs are criminals. They're criminals. They're committing crimes. Let's stop pretending like this is a serious organization. We know what they are. They are fucking troublemakers. They're there to make trouble. They're there to fuck up black people and brown people and liberals and leftists. That's their goal.
We have requested the full cooperation of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security in these investigations, and we expect that cooperation to happen.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You guys know we've been detailing the ways in which the ICE Gestapo thugs are indeed Gestapo thugs. But now you have, police officers saying the exact same fucking things we're saying. And what do you expect from an organization, from an agency that was built on mass kidnappings and abductions and human traffickings? Remember the 288 people sent to CCOT, the concentration camp in El Salvador? By the way, over 90% of them had no criminal record whatsoever. Remember that? Alligator Auschwitz, Guantanamo Bay. They wanted to build even more of these things. ICE has raided schools and meatpacking facilities and farms and Home Depots and 7-Elevens, and they deported a 4-year-old American citizen with cancer. A woman who had just given birth was arrested immediately after she gave birth. An American citizen was held for a week. Even when the mom showed up and showed the social security card and the driver's license and all the paperwork, they didn't care. Held that person for a week. A U.S. Marshal was arrested by ICE. An American from Puerto Rico who was a veteran was arrested by ICE. I mean, this is who we're dealing with, man. This is who we're dealing with. They ignore court rulings. So this country is coming apart at the seams. And we're now at the point where, in my life, there was always a united front between different levels of law enforcement, even if it's state and federal. There's always been like a united front. And now the cracks are beginning to show, where you have different levels of law enforcement having radically different interpretations of what's happening. And in this instance, the cops are telling the truth and the fucking ICE Gestapo thugs are not. And I could see this continuing to happen, right? Remember, Trump kept saying he's going to use the National Guard and the military to invade Chicago. Well, J.B. Pritzker comes out and Mayor Brandon Johnson comes out and they go, the fuck you are. We're not letting you. We're instructing our officers to not cooperate with you in any way, shape, or form. So if you show up, you'll be viewed as a hostile entity, right? And that's this idea except on a grander scale. That's what this is. That's this idea except on a grander scale. So what happens when you have the police at every level, state and local, in Illinois, going, you're not welcome here, right? And then the feds show up anyway. This is where we're at. This is where we're at in this country. So you got to fight back. You got to fight back. You cannot lay down in a chalk outline of yourself and let the fascists do whatever they want. Because as I always say, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. This is what fighting back looks like. And everybody should be doing it because they need to know you need to calm the fuck down and get in your fucking place and follow the law. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.